Weston here with the Hidden Gibbon, back with another deck tech video. Today's deck tech is going to feature Tannuk Steadfast second. This is going to be a bracket 4 deck with 5 game changers: Ancient Tomb, Gamble, the One Ring, Deflecting Swat, and Jessica's Will, and 1 tutor in Gamble. Let's get straight into it. So Tannuk Steadfast second is the second of 2 Tannuks in the Edge of Eternities set. This one is a 3/5 for 2 colorless and 2 red. It says other creatures you control have haste, and artifact cards and red cards in your hand have warp, which warp says you may cast a card from your hand for its warp cost, exile that permanent at the beginning of your next end step, then you may cast it from exile on a later turn. Kind of feels a little bit like the adventure cards. So the main goal of this deck, and you can see a peek there, is we're going to try to be flashing in a bunch of our big red creatures, but we're also going to try to generate a whole bunch of treasure to be able to allow us to recast these big things, right? Like, we can't just rely on Tannuk on his own. So for our creatures, we are rocking 20 of them here. We have Ancient Copper Dragon, which is a flying 6/5 that says whenever it deals combat damage to a player, roll a d20. You create a number of treasure tokens equal to the result. We have Bale Fire Dragon, which is whenever it deals combat damage to a player, it deals that much damage to each creature that player controls. So kind of like a Wrath effect. We have Cavern Horde Dragon, which will also generate you treasures because it says it costs X less, where X is the greatest number of artifacts an opponent controls. And so if a person has a lot of mana rocks, treasures, etc., you have Cavern Horde. Flying Trample and Haste, and whenever Cavern Horde Dragon deals combat damage to a player, you create a treasure token for each artifact that player controls. We have Dragon Mage, which, man, I believe this this card originates all the way back in Scourge. I had this in one of my original red-blue, like, 60-card casual decks back in the day. It says whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, each player discards their hand and draws 7 cards, so it's a wheel effect. We have a Tali Primal Storm, be able to get it in there and cast spells. We have Goldlust Triad, which helps you create a treasure token, and it has Myriad. Goldspan Dragon, we all know this one. It has haste. It generates treasures and makes your treasures tap for double. Hellkite Tyrant, so whenever Hellkite Tyrant deals combat damage to a player, gain control of all artifacts that player controls. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 20 or more artifacts, you win the game. This is one of your win conditions for generating all of those treasures. You'll see the Blightsteel Colossus in here, and that is because we are running a little card that some Legacy players may know called Painter's Servant. As Painter's Servant comes into play, choose a color. All cards that aren't in play, spells and permanents, are the chosen color in addition to their other types. But back to our big creatures, we got Ilarg, we got Karlach, we got Maelstrom Colossus, we got Myr Battlesphere, and see, even if you can't get the Painter's Servant, you should be able to generate enough treasures through your other creatures to be able to cast them. We have Nulfashni. Nulfashni is whenever you cast a spell from exile, copy it. You may choose new targets. If it's a permanent spell, copy it, gains haste. So, you know, warp your Ancient Copper Dragon, hit with it, then cast your Nulfashni, and then be able to get another Ancient Copy Dragon onto it. Okay, we got Ragavan. We got Sandstone Oracle. When it enters the battlefield, choose an opponent. If that player has more cards in hand than you, draw cards equal to the difference. We have Scourge of the Throne, which has Dethrone. We have Terror of the Peaks. Everybody recognizes this one. And Wild Magic Sorcerer. So the first spell you cast from exile has Cascade. For sorceries, we are running Blasphemous Act and Gamble to tutor. And then we are running a whole bunch of things to ramp red, right? So, like, maybe on turn 4, we can get a Geosurge, right? And we can cast our commander, and then be able to warp in something on that turn. We have Twin Flame. The Rite of Flame and Mana Guys are also here to get out early. Jessica's Will, and then Wheel of Fortune to refill our hand. For instance, we have Chaos Warp. I love the arts in Edge of Eternities. Just love them. Then we also have Deflecting Swat. We have Desperate Ritual. Sealing Song, Pyretic Ritual, Fling, Valakut Awakening, and Flare of Duplication. For artifacts, we're running 19 because artifacts in your hand can be cast for more. That's also the other thing, is you can cast the Blightsteel for its warp cost. Silly me, I forgot that right for a second. So we have a Chroma's Memorial, Cage Sun, Chromatic Orrery. You know, if you get a Chroma's Memorial into play, just even for one turn, giving your creatures a whole bunch of stuff. Panharmonicon, pretty dang good. We have the RMS Titanic. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, sacrifice it and create that many treasure tokens. Hey, look, it's about to be hit by it. I don't know anything about Doctor Who, but I'm guessing that it doesn't have a fun time here. We're running the Endstone, the One Ring, Eternity Elevator, Sundial of the Infinite, this Sundial of the Infinite is pretty nice because it lets you end the turn and it exiles all spells and abilities on the stack. So the Warp ability would get exiled and you get to keep your creatures with Sundial of the Infinite. At least if I am understanding it correctly. I've played similar decks with Sundial of the Infinite before, and that's how it's worked. We have the Endstone. For enchantments, we're running Aggravated Assault, which is untap all creatures you control. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase, followed by an additional main phase. Play this ability only anytime you can play a sorcery. So this is fun because if you get your Ancient Copper Dragon out there and you get at least 5, then you're going to be going to town. Curse of Opulence, Descent into Avernus. I love Descent into Avernus. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I think it has some good utility. Industrial Advancement, which is at the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice a creature. If you do, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is that creature's mana value, and you may put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. I'm going to be honest with you, this card doesn't feel like a red card. This card feels like a green card. I don't know how it ended up being red, but it's just what it feels like. We have Sneak Attack, and we have Mirror March. For our lands, we're running 38, with 29 of them being mountains. We're running a couple fetch lands, just 3 here. Gemstone Caverns, Cavern of Souls, Rogue's Passage, Reliquary Tower, Ancient Tomb, and then Valakut. Yeah, overall, I think that this could be really fun. There's, of course, room to tune this up a little bit more. I'm sure that many of you who are watching will see things that I missed when brewing up this deck, but let me know what you all think in the comments down below. Are you going to build a Tannuk deck? If so, how will you build it the same or build it different? Let me know. As always, I'm Weston with the Hidden Gibbon, and I'll see you in the next one.